welcome back to Exploring Whiskies. I'm Eric.
I'm Kevin.
Madam.
And this is we're celebrating our 1-year anniversary. Yay! Graphics. Anyway, so we started this channel 1 year ago in the middle of the boredom of COVID. And we wanted to just kind of talk about the last year, what some of the things we got going on right now, and continue the theme. We started this by just tackling every Buffalo Trace bottle that we had, anything that came from that distillery.
We came close to knocking them all out.
We did really good on all the bottom shelves. We got a lot of those out. We got a lot of the Buffalo Trace out. We got a good chunk of E.H. Taylors and Wellers, but we never went quite to the next level of bottles. Well, we got some of the next level of bottles today. So, bottle one, we're going to do a little Elmer T Lee. Mr. Eric. Mr. Eric got this through
scored it through a
lottery, right?
A lottery, yeah. So one of the local liquor stores right around Christmas time. I guess I would say they had quite the inventory of store picks.
Yes, they did.
So smart on their part to unload them. It was, every store pick you bought, you got your name put in a raffle, and I only bought one. Lucky me. Bought one for the fantasy football.
I bought 3. I didn't win any.
And got the phone call and says your name was picked. And they told me it was Elmer T Lee, and I said, how much? Because if it was secondary or more, I was probably going to pass. And they said, nope, retail.
No way you can pass that up.
52 and some change with tax.
Yeah.
So
$50 for a bottle that I've never seen on the shelf.
Never seen
no,
that.
no.
Apparently it's more available in other states. My understanding is Texas tends to have a lot of them just sitting on shelves.
Yeah, Texas.
Probably Ohio. Ohio's probably got it too, but maybe not now that they switched over to state controlled, right?
Well, I'll check it out when I go up there in a couple weeks.
There you go.
So
why don't you pour those up?
Yeah, man.
We could do a little toast for the first year. Oh, we're going to go that route. All right. Well, I just thought I was being slick by putting 3 behind each bottle, but...
No.
Anyway.
Put Elmer up front.
Well, boys.
Cheers.
Cheers
to year
number
number one.
Year
number one.
Thanks for the pour, Eric.
Yeah, absolutely. Old Elmer. So, little backstory on Elmer here.
Yeah.
He was a master distiller for Buffalo Trace for a little over 35 years. I guess kind of known as the pioneer of the single barrel.
Okay.
So he
and that's the single barrel, right?
Yes. It was actually, this was in his honor. So
that's a sour mash.
He was responsible for bringing Blanton's to market. So.
Okay.
That's right.
You know, you spend 35 plus years. Blanton's is another very recognizable brand for them.
Absolutely.
After he retired in '85, so I guess I don't even know when this. Sorry, I didn't do the homework on that one, but I don't know when this was when the first release was. But I do know it's in his honor. Obviously, it's got his name on it. So that's
came out after he retired.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's quite an honor there. It's Buffalo Trace's number 2 mash bill. It does have the higher rye,
right,
about 15%.
Which is the same mash bill as Blanton's.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Same as the.
Yeah. So, but it's at 90 proof as well, which is kind of odd. They say for a single barrel, it should be a little higher.
Right. Yeah. Normally single barrels are barrel proof or totally proof down. One or the other. So.
Right.
It's rumored to be around 12-ish years. They don't put it on the bottle, but that's the rumor. And again, I was lucky enough to get it at retail.
Gotta love that.
For buying one bottle.
50
Good luck. Good luck buying that for
That's awesome.
So
very similar color to Blanton's though. It's like right there.
Yeah.
That honey. Oh, pretty. Yeah.
Solid oil for. I mean, proofing down, still pretty good oil.
That's a good nose.
But it's light.
It's light.
It's a softer nose, but there's good. The rye spice
honey.
comes through, but there's a lot of brown sugar.
I pick up a little ethanol in the nose too, given that it's only
A
a bit
touch.
surprised because it's only 90 proof. But
I was going to chalk that up to the rye, but could easily be the ethanol. Ooh, that's nice.
Ooh.
There's a little warmth, a lot of sweet.
a lot of fruit.
You hear the warmth, you hear the rye spice. But
Yeah.
honey, first thing, boom, right on the tip of my tongue. Honey.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I don't know. I don't use the term honey for bourbon because it's such a prominent note in Scotch.
Yeah. Oh,
It
okay.
really, it's like a totally different, like honey on Scotch is super, like just drinking honey.
Like drinking honey, yeah. Tasting honeycomb or something, yeah.
Yes. So, we're going to start off with the reason we started with the Elmer T Lee. This, we are going to run a small contest in association with this 1 year anniversary. So the anniversary is June 19th. That's when this episode's going live. All right, we're going to try to run a contest for 2 ounces of Elmer T Lee sent to you. You get to try it for free. So, obviously, got to be over 21. We'll figure out a way to validate that, like you with your photo ID, something along those lines.
Can't wait to see how many McLovins.
Yes, yeah, exactly. So we'll figure that all out. We'll mail it to the address on the ID, those kind of things. We'll just trying to make sure we're not serving minors here. We'll announce it on Facebook, Instagram, all that kind of stuff. And how you win is 1, like this video. 2, either share it out on Facebook and Instagram, or go to our Facebook page, which we've just launched. We launched a Exploring Whiskey Facebook page, and we have a now will be more active Instagram Exploring Whiskey page. So they're linked up on in our YouTube channel, and you can find just look for Exploring Whiskey. So go out there, like that, and then down below after you like this video, all you gotta do is write in the comments "Happy Anniversary." And that's how we'll use that as the random sampler to pick who wins.
It's pretty easy if you're asking me.
I think it should be
easy.
easy. And then we'll post it up on Facebook, Instagram. You send us email us with your information. We'll figure it all out and we'll get it out to you. It's just a test. If it works, maybe we'll do more of these. Or maybe we'll do it every time we hit like a benchmark of another, 200 viewers, 300 viewers. We're over 100. I think we're at 113, 114 right now. But that was the point of starting with the Elmer T Lee. So go out, like our Facebook, like our Instagram. We're going to be more active on both. So keep an eye out for all that kind of fun stuff.
Yep, absolutely.
Probably the best odds of you tasting this.
Let's do the raffle.
Doing the raffle.
Do a raffle.
It's a good possibility because this is the first time I got to taste this one.
Yep.
Depending where you live, but yeah. Like I said, I've never seen that bottle.
Yeah, it's super interesting, obviously doing this show and, the history behind some of this stuff and, like, where you can get stuff. Like, you purchase stuff in New Jersey. I pick stuff up in Ohio and making my way back down through Kentucky and stuff. How much more ready, like, on the shelf. Like, for me, Weller, the only place I've only bought 1 bottle here in Nashville. Everything else has been in these crappy liquor stores going back
Between
in Ohio.
yeah, Kentucky and Ohio, right?
And some it's been like 1 per, and some it's like
Whatever, bye.
Yeah, go nuts. Yeah,
and I didn't go nuts. I bought stuff to share the wealth. I didn't clear them out. But it is super interesting. Then you see those pictures of Kansas City, Houston, and
With
there's
like
just
cases
cases sitting
on the floor.
Costco's in Minnesota.
We're lucky if we get a case in 1 store.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've
So-
never seen it.
And it's sitting in the back. And you gotta know the right person to ask the right question to get the password.
Yep.
But that's why it pays to frequent 1 or 2 stores, get your face recognized.
Yep. Which has been difficult in this past year with the fact that that's about all they see of your face.
Yeah.
So
But
you
you
really
see about this much of theirs.
most of the time it is the the chin diaper.
But yeah. But no.
That is a solid bottle.
Solid bottle.
And at MSRP,
$50.
buy that all day long. Absolutely.
I would probably be willing to pay a little bit more for it.
I would agree.
From Ed, if retail was 60, 65, I would still pay it.
I wanted.
for
I
sure,
thought
for sure.
retail went up to 60, but I could have missed that.
Yeah, this is a bottle you could pour for someone that was like, okay, I kind of want to do bourbon. I kind of want to do it. I kind of want to taste it. You pour this for them, you could probably ruin their life because
They'll never find it.
They're never gonna find that
Or
again.
they're gonna be at a
Around,
restaurant.
that's-
They're gonna be at a restaurant and they're gonna
Yeah.
pay
Yeah, they're gonna pay $20 a pour.
$20 for a pour.
Yeah,
The bottle
for sure.
reminds me of the Cardew.
Yep.
That's very similar to the Cardew Scotch that we did.
So did he retire to play golf? Because that's a very golfy hat.
The hat.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's the Bryson DeChambeau hat, right?
Yeah. I don't know.
No, I'm thinking he just retired, is my guess. Because, I mean, he retired in 85, passed away in 2013. So, probably just retired.
Yeah. Probably plenty to fall back on, I could say.
Yeah, I'm sure he probably had an endless supply of his own,
His
own,
own stuff.
own label.
Yeah.
Not to mention probably anything else that came out of the distillery.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine the
Probably
perks.
got to sample.
The perks.
Just rolling in and being like, hey, what you got brewing? What's going on?
Man.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Walk
great
back
pour.
to that bottling room, you're like, going to lunch. So, no, it was a great score.
Yeah.
Still got about half the bottle left. So
Yeah, it's a good bottle.
a few more pours in there.
Yeah.
And 2 ounces, for the
2
lucky
ounces
winner.
for the lucky winner. Happy to do that.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah, very nice.
All right, so
It was that good. Yeah, look
that
how
is
fast
that's
was
very
done.
good. The regular shows, me and Eric. If you caught just recently, we've released 2 episodes of the cocktails. So the whole point of this was exploring whiskeys, was going outside of, we were bourbon. Like, let's try something else. So that was the whole point. We're exploring whiskeys. We're getting outside of bourbons. We're doing scotches, Asians, Irishes. But I buy more Scotch and Irish than I buy bourbon now. Just because there's a lot out there. But a whole nother way to explore whiskey is to throw it in a cocktail. And this dude shows up at your house with one of those, you think it's like he's going out for a picnic, but he starts pulling out tools and shakers and fruit and, yeah, so.
I like to get people tipsy. It's a fun thing to do. Yeah. Now, I bartended for a little while, and I guess through college, at the end of college, I didn't really get to do as much whiskey cocktails. I guess kind of got into that later in my life, but
The craft
Enjoy it.
cocktails, as I could call them.
yeah,
More craft.
more craft. Yeah,
Rather than your standard Jack and Coke or
yeah.
vodka soda, gin and tonic. I mean, you put some thought and some work into it.
Yeah.
Most of the time it works out. Every once in a while it tastes like, it doesn't taste so well, but it's,
You've never made a bad cocktail for me.
I was going to say, I mean,
Well, I appreciate
you've,
that's good
you've set on fire cinnamon sticks.
That's a good idea. I'm gonna wait for the fall for that one.
Yes,
I'm gonna wait
absolutely.
for the fall on that guy. So yeah.
Actually, I have an idea for you we're going to discuss, but I want you to figure out a good coffee whiskey cocktail for the fall. Or maybe
Okay.
wintertime. So, think through that.
I got a Manhattan kind of idea with that.
With coffee?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
okay. I like it.
talk about that later.
Yeah,
Irish,
we'll figure
Irish
that out.
whiskey with coffee.
Jameson,
Yes, the
the
black.
coffee
Oh,
with...
I was gonna say, I'm surprised you guys don't drink one of those before golf. Nice little
The
Irish
Jameson coffee
I do.
with Bailey's in it apparently is supposed to be very good as well.
Yeah.
I fill my tall Yeti coffee and healthy pour of sometimes Jameson, sometimes Kahlua.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's spiked. It's not just
Gotta
coffee.
get loosened up. Yeah, you gotta get loosened up. First one we did, beginning of June, was Old Fashioned.
Old fashioned. Yeah.
We've got...
Bourbon old fashioned.
All right. This comes out on the 19th. So yesterday, the Sazerac. We released the Sazerac episode. We're going to have every other Friday, we're going to figure out a groove, just like we did with this channel. The main episodes, we started with 1 a week, and then we moved to 2 a week. And since the beginning of 2021, we've been doing 3 a week.
Yeah, you guys have
So-
been banging them out lately.
Yeah, so we're going to figure out, I don't know how many whiskey cocktails we can come up with. I know you've got some ideas, so
Pinterest is full of them.
Oh yeah.
we'll figure out and
We're gonna do
go
umbrellas,
through there.
Put all kinds of little,
Yeah, extra fruits
extra
and
fruits and
extra muddlings and who knows. Not sure, but
got
he's-
some ideas.
He's got some cool tools coming to him for Father's Day, apparently.
Oh yeah.
Possibly, we don't know.
That was one of the best parts of the old fashioned video. Letting my wife Nancy watch it, she goes, "We gotta get you another
Gotta
peeler.
upgrade.
That yellow
The
peeler,
peeler,
is
it's
just
like that
awful."
yellow plastic and clothes.
Yeah, it is awful, Nancy. We should step up.
Stainless,
We should.
or copper.
Yeah, we got. Yeah, There's some golden ones, some gold leaf ones. Yeah, we're gonna
Step up.
we've
Yeah.
got some
You got to
stuff.
step it up. More to come, more changes. We're going to figure some
Yeah,
things
looking
out,
forward to it,
but
yeah. That'll be fun.
I think that'll be a cool extra way to explore some of the different things. Outside of the cocktails, Adam's given us 3,
number.
4, 5, 6, I don't even know at this point, different bottles to try out, sample, kill sometimes on the episode. Here, just take this and kill it. Go ahead.
Let's do it. Do it.
So,
I think the first one we had the Asian.
Yeah, the
Motto-
Japanese.
That was
the
the
mystery-
bottle
drink.
itself was crystal.
yeah.
Yep. That was
Yeah.
one of the first, like, oh man, what? My wife brought that home for our anniversary. Yeah, last year's anniversary, and I'm like, what is this? There's so many other bottles you could have bought, but it's interesting. I mean, it got me into Japanese, and it sort of like scratched that Scotch,
Yeah,
sort of
gets
level.
towards
Yeah.
that direction. You okay?
Next.
5-4?
Heck yeah, go.
All right. This is going to be something, if you've seen it and bought it, great. If I've never seen it until outside of pictures online, and until till I get this wonderful little call of, dude, you got to come over. I got something. I'm like, okay, I'm in.
Yeah. So a friend of ours, that sounds like Goodfellas. That sounds kind of like something you hear on Sopranos. A friend of ours who's in our whiskey club, Alan,
Oh, forgot about that. Here you go.
was out west visiting family and taking pictures of liquor stores along the way. And so in December, this happened all in December, and I had got a Christmas bonus, got COVID, survived, and I told my wife, I was like, if he finds something good out there, I'm doing it. I don't care. So purchased it at secondary. We'll just leave it at that.
MSRP is $70.
Right.
Secondary tends to be, and I'm just going to say multiples of that.
Yeah, lucky finding it for under $500.
Yeah, yeah.
I had it one at a time with my brother-in-law. After many pours of Booker's and my mouth was shot, I had it on a big cube, and I thought it was the best thing I ever tasted in my life. This was many years ago. Got a chance to buy it again, and I said, hey, let's go. Let's do it.
Yeah.
The worst part of the story was it's sitting on a shelf for 3 weeks as I couldn't smell or taste anything from COVID. Yeah, but
Well,
yeah.
here's to
Cheers
being
again.
able to taste again.
Tastes good. It's good.
Caramely,
Caramel.
vanilla-y.
Yeah, the burnt caramel-y, the burnt caramels, right? Like, yeah,
With,
it's like get
but
that
the
vanilla.
leather and tobacco comes through in that?
Yeah. I don't get much ethanol. I don't.
No. For 107 proof, not a crazy amount of ethanol on the nose.
No, but for having 107 proof, this drink's a lot smoother than Antique,
Yeah.
I think.
That's, probably got a handful more years sitting in that barrel. All right, so Pappy Van Winkle. Julian is Pappy Van Winkle. He was a traveling salesman for W.L. Weller for, well, we're just going to say a long time ago. Because that was when it was still the Stitzel distillery, which,
It's in Western Kentucky.
which they don't even own anymore. Isn't that, no, Castle and Key?
I
When's
think
Stitzel
so.
now?
Give me a few more weeks. I'm reading Pappyland.
Okay.
I'm into this right now. So you gotta give me a few more weeks.
So I think it's something along those lines. So we'll see. And so he was selling it. Then he bought it. Then he passed away and gave it to his son, and the investors made them sell it. And ultimately, that they had to sell off all their brands, which was W.L. Weller, Old Fitz, Rebel Yell, Cabin Still. It's the only one I've never heard
I've
of.
never
That
heard
sounds
of
like maple syrup.
Syrup, yeah.
So they sold it off to a bunch of different, like I know Old Fitzgerald is Heaven's Hill.
Right.
Obviously, W.L. Weller went to Sazerac, Buffalo Trace.
Who's doing Rebel Yell?
I don't know about Rebel Yell. I know it exists and I've seen it.
That's
I want
not
to say that's a
bad
beam. Is that a
It's
beam?
not a bad pour for under $30.
That may be a beam. I'm not totally certain.
Beam or Heaven Hill?
I don't recall if either one. I'm not sure. He did end up holding on to some barrels. The son or the son's son, the grandson, one of those, and ultimately also held on to that name and started this release, they ultimately got bought out by Sazerac, Buffalo Trace. Now Buffalo Trace is the one who's doing the distilling here. 107 proof, 10 years. This is the youngest
Youngest.
of the Pappy line. So
It was the Pappy thing that got you.
yeah,
into the
yeah.
trying to blend them all together. So we've got the 10-year. There's a 12-year Lot B.
Lot B, yeah.
There's is it 14 or 15-year rye?
The 13-year rye,
13-year rye.
15, 20, and 23.
Yes.
And there's a rumor out there that there's a 25.
Right.
So
We'll see.
Someone out there has it.
Probably.
I'll never see it. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the long and short. Again, I've never seen this bottle in the wild, ever. I've never seen it, period, outside of pictures until, like I said, showed up at Adam's house and was just like, hell yes.
I think both of you guys came over
Yeah.
that night.
Yeah.
Get your butts over here. We got something. We got some magic going on, and it's one of those bottles. Even reading the back of it, like we talked about earlier, it's like it's a magical story that I want to be part of.
Yep.
Reading this, like
Yeah.
it's sat in 10 summers of aging, and oh my gosh, it's one of those bottles, man. It's what like sticker shock. I mean, it's
Yes.
I don't even remember what I did for the last 10 summers. Just sit there and just sit.
Just sit.
Just sit.
I
And
slept
age.
like this guy right here, this gnome, and right in front. But no, it's a good pour.
It's a good pour. All right, so the things that I've read about it. One, this is the one with the biggest variation from year to year.
Right. After
that-
2018, I believe.
What?
Or I
This
think
one?
or after anyway.
Yeah, so apparently there's pretty big variations in the flavor profiles and all that. All the rest of them tend to be very more just the same profile every year as they come out. This tends to fluctuate a little bit. I don't know. Like I want to say wow, it's amazing because it's such an expensive bottle. It's good.
It's not gonna hurt my feelings.
I know.
No, I'm the
I
same
know.
way.
We've had that conversation. We've already had this
we've had it
conversation.
many times.
It's
Yeah,
a really good bottle.
Right.
Both these bottles are really good for what they should
Cost.
Should sell
Right.
for.
$70. Absolutely. I would recommend buying that at 177 proof,
So
$70.
it's gonna be interesting. So Buffalo Trace, they've added a number of facilities over the last
Yes.
5 years.
Yeah.
So another 5 years, 6 years.
Right.
How much more of their product is going to be out on the market at MSRP?
Yeah.
And they're not even.
Or just the chance to get them at MSRP.
Well, maybe
Or closer.
Maybe not even all the
Yeah.
Pappies, but more of the other Buffalo Trace.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Eagle Rares, the Blantons,
Bland seems to be an Eagle Rares, at least around here.
around here,
Especially
Eagle Rares
Eagle Rare.
easily found.
Yeah.
Like I went to
Wood on that.
Cincinnati, and my cousin and his buddies love Eagle Rare, but they couldn't find it. But they can get Special Reserve and Antique.
Which we
All
can't
day
can't get
long.
around here.
They're on
easily.
the same truck.
You would think, yeah.
Yeah.
So I muled 10 bottles of Eagle Rare up there and traded out for some Weller. Came home, but it's just interesting that they can get that. We can get this.
Yeah, distribution's
We're both
weird.
Nashville and Cincinnati are
About the same.
about the same distance from Buffalo Trace.
Yeah.
Cincinnati's getting closer. It's only an hour.
Yeah. So yeah, it
very
just goes
weird.
back to interesting what's available here versus other markets and all that. But I am interested to see how much more
Starts coming out.
starts coming out now that they've added more barns on their property.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Well, so what? We got some some sweet fruit. The nose. Like I said, I got a little tobacco, leather, something
Char.
like an age
Yeah,
note
I get-
to it, a char note
I
to
get
it.
char, I get spice.
Sweet.
tobacco.
Honestly, it's a little bit better than I think that first time
The
we
first time we
sampled it.
poured it. Yeah.
It's a little bit better.
Yeah.
Not the neck bar.
It's
The mythical.
the mythical neck
neck
bar,
bar.
absolutely. Which,
Yeah, we just opened. That was the
Yeah,
we opened it
you
that,
opened
that,
it that day. So maybe I still think there's got to be something about like fresh air mixing in there. And
I say it's a real thing.
I don't know.
Neck pour or whatever, but I think oxygenating
having
spirit has something to do with it.
Yep.
Also, that day, that was probably the that was 3 days into having scent and smell, so I thought it tasted like liquid gold. I mean, it was like I was just so happy to be able to taste bourbon again.
Yeah.
But it goes back to how many times you've probably opened that bottle since then.
Right.
How much has gotten in there.
Yep.
Right? True. Yeah.
So-
True.
And there's also something about what you've drank before
True.
leading up
Yeah.
to that is going to impact your palate a touch,
Completely.
and that leads like right into that. It's a lot of it's on the same path with a slightly different, more the char tobacco.
I get the
type
proofage.
notes.
I get more. I get more tobacco. I get more earthy. I guess or just barrel notes.
Yeah, the barrel notes comes through. The oak comes through just a touch more.
Which I like a lot. I'm not justifying the fact that I spent secondary on this bottle or anything like that, but
Yes, well. All right. So this was, super. We were all super excited to have this one. So what we're going to talk about now is, all right, we've done. I'm going to guess we've done 80 to 100 bottles.
Let's just say 52 times 4. Roughly. 52 or 53 weeks in a year. How many is it?
52 weeks in a year,
52
and we've only done
sample
3. Oh, you're talking about filming?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. We would film four each week with skipping a couple
we've
weeks
skipped
here
a
or
couple
there.
weeks, but just if we didn't skip a week, because we only skipped a couple.
Well, let's just say we put out probably around 100 episodes. Let's just go with that. I don't know if that's right or wrong. I have no idea. I've not kept track at all. Best one. Best one.
Ooh,
And you
that's
can do
good.
categories. You can do categories, but best one.
That's a good question right there.
We talked before. I think for me, I kind of lumped them into because we did all Buffalo Trace.
Yep,
we did
that was the
all
first
Old Forester, all the 1792s. For me, I look more towards the whole lineup. I'm a huge fan of Old Forester. Yeah, I don't care what bottle you put in front of me. I'm gonna get a pour and probably another pour, and then maybe move to the next bottle. I mean, I just enjoy that lineup, all of them. Even the 84. The 84 was like my go-to daily drinker for the longest time.
Yeah.
But then when we were able to go to Laverne and get the whole entire
That
lineup
was fun.
at a little bit of a discount.
You buy a dozen bottles, I'll give you a discount.
Okay.
Okay. We're already buying 9 from the lineup.
Yeah, no, we threw a few extra in there. But no, I think outside of Buffalo Trace, I think this past year that's been top to bottom, like my favorite, like for bourbons, the whole lineup. I mean, there's been a couple others sprinkled in there, but for me, for some reason, I'm just drawn to that distillery. Not because I've actually gone there and done the tour of the private tasting, but
Which you have.
I just think they put a quality product out.
It
Have
is.
you done that? Have you done the private tasting? Mm-hmm. Wow.
It is a very consistent.
Mm-hmm.
And basically what you're going to get. You know that 1910s, you're going to get the vanillas, the 1920s, maybe a little bananas. There's a very consistent profile to everything they do. And their rye really, it's a pretty solid rye. It's a good lineup.
The 1910 and 20, if I guess advise friends to, hey, you gotta buy this bottle. Every one of them, they're like, holy, yeah, that's amazing. Those are great pours.
So I just enjoyed that whole lineup.
Yeah, that was fun to be able to do almost a complete lineup by doing that. Like the Buffalo Trace has all these random extra things that you don't get to catch all the time. You can get almost every one of those except for the birthday bourbon's harder to find. The presidential you have to buy there, I think.
I think it's only available at the distillery.
Yeah, so those are, I think, the only two. They did release, I think, after we started the process, the 150 anniversary bottles, which we didn't get to sample, but...
And they've got another single barrel out.
For a rye, right?
No, they got both a bourbon and a rye.
The rye just came out,
Yeah.
The bourbon's got the blue label, the rye's got the green label. So, yeah.
Yeah, so there's a few new ones, which I think every distillery should do. So, but, all right. I'm not going to be specific like that, or vague. I'm going to be try to be more specific. So, scotches, the Glenmorangie 15-year, the Cadboll Estate, and I will say the whole Glenmorangie line is solid. Every single one we've done, but that 15-year Cadboll Estate is probably the best Scotch I've ever tasted. It's just a wonderful drink. Everything about it's great. The proof is solid. I think it was 92 proof, so it's a little bit up there. So love that one. I was nearly giddy for both of these. So the Writer's Tears, cask strength Irish whiskey, 3,000 bottles sold in the world, 1,500 come to the U.S. I got one of them.
You got one of them?
That was really cool, and it was really good.
What's the proof on that guy?
123? 120? Nope, that's 109. Sorry.
It's a cool box too. Cool packaging. Cool.
Yeah, and it slides
presentation.
out the side. It's
Yeah.
just a cool. Everything about it's really neat. So that was kind of a fun little find, and I was glad to have that. The little book, I got really scared about the little book. I thought I overhyped it in my own brain because of how much I like the Booker's, but it's totally different than Booker's and so much better than Booker's.
The
It was
Booker's
really good.
was just
They're a little aggressive.
it's a lot of heat,
They're hot.
Yeah.
and it's very heavy on the peanut.
Yep. That's
Very, very heavy on the
Shells.
peanut.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. It's. Yeah.
So those, I'm going to say those are my three favorite by all means. I don't know if you've watched all the episodes. Do you have anything
What?
or that you've sampled over here that you thought was solid?
Things that I haven't had, man. Larceny. That was a fun night comparing the was it Grandma's or was it the
Granny's Batch.
Granny's Batch with Larceny. Yeah,
Larceny.
with Larceny.
Yep.
That's a good pour. Larceny's that what is that one? That's the B or the C? I
C.
can't remember.
That's C 920.
This year or last year?
920.
Okay, yeah, that was a good pour. What do I have at home that I got to make the Mai Tai out of? We'll cut that part out.
The Glenlivet Caribbean rum.
That is delicious.
That's the one you
I'm
bought.
sorry, but that is
Yeah.
delicious.
Yeah.
But
I
it's
bought the double.
the
oak,
presidential
the
double oak
oak,
something
yeah.
or other. Yeah, so during the episode, like everything on the website for Glenlivet Caribbean rum finished was like, it didn't talk about the actual whiskey. It's like, use this in a Mai Tai. It's all like,
Yep.
their whole website said that.
I think you didn't like it, so like, what cocktails can we use?
It
Use
wasn't bad. It was just a little overly
fruity.
fruity and stuff
Yeah.
like that. And I really think it would make sense as a cocktail. So
Come
at
out.
some point, we're going to be doing a Mai Tai, especially over the summer months. That would be nice to have a little Mai Tai
Yeah, it's a
with
good summer drink.
with your Nika Days and
ooh, and ginger beer.
beer.
That's good with the. I'm doing spiced cherry bitters.
Okay.
I think one of my big takeaways for doing this channel for the last year is how much sourced juice is out there.
There's a lot of stuff coming from.
And
A
how much
handful
it's
of
actually,
sourced.
there was always kind of that, oh, you got it from MGP. Like, you didn't want to drink that. You read the back of the label.
And see what.
But no,
what
it's like,
yeah.
man, there's some good,
some good
good
stuff.
juice coming out of there.
Yeah.
Last 2 years, there's so many good things.
Yeah.
And I understand a lot. Some distilleries, they get it there, get their flavor profile until their stuff is ready.
Yep.
But there's some that just kind of said, you know, I'm not even gonna worry about aging my own stuff. I'm just gonna get it from them
And
and
do some finishings
Yeah.
or.
like there's some
That's
good
Joseph
stuff.
Magnus.
The Joseph Magnus.
Yep.
We gotta get a hold of that cigar blend.
Yeah, I know.
Murray
The
Hill, I
cigar
see it
one.
all over the place, but I really want to try that cigar blend.
Yeah, that's been interesting. Yeah, that is interesting to see how much is sourced out of MGP, or even undisclosed sourced of 1792,
All right.
or Barstown does a lot of it. So there's a lot
Dickel.
of. Yeah, Dickel does a lot. Anytime you see a Tennessee whiskey, almost always it's Dickel.
Yeah,
So
I've said before on a number of shows, like I don't understand because I've gone down and I've done the tour, and they are small.
Yeah.
And compared to go down the road to Jack Daniels, like, you would think Jack would be sourcing stuff before Dickel would be, just given the size of the distillery. But
Yeah.
Jack doesn't share. All right. So the follow-up question to what's your favorite is always, what was your least favorite in the last year?
oh well, you're standing. You block it.
Yeah, we've had
over
this
there.
conversation. We did this bourbon. This is Jeff the Creed, Bloody Butcher Corn, straight bourbon whiskey.
Okay.
It is a difficult drink. It is the bottle etchings.
I like the bottle.
A Celtic knotwork on it. It's such a cool idea. Their branding and the thought process behind it was cool. The fact that they use all malted grains was purely an accident. Like it just all showed up as.
Looking.
It's a
Well,
very
they spent
cool
some money on
bottle.
the bottle. Like, they've got
Nice cork.
everything etched in it.
Oh, look at the glass. I was gonna say, can I?
Yeah,
I tasted this once before, but
We're doing it. We're gonna do it.
okay.
We're gonna ruin our palates before we have.
I think the
Don't
theme
worry, we
with
got
these
something to clean it
are
up.
the artisanal bourbons that we've had this year is that they were all just rushed to market. If some not all, if some of them would have just aged a little longer,
Yep.
it would have been much better than.
Yeah. So the artisanal ones, which this is obviously an artisanal one. You pick yours. Pick your poisons. We've struggled with them. They have a very grainy, young, sharp notes to them. I'm trying to think of the ones we did.
We did this. We started
did
with this
one.
one.
We did the Southern Revival.
Southern Revival, which is one I had for a
Yeah.
while.
We did the
Blonde Brothers.
Yeah. We'll come back to the Blonde Brothers. We did the Grand Gracier Tennessee one,
Mm-hmm.
and then the AD Laws, kind of artisanal, but they also
The
use.
one in Colorado.
Yeah, but they use
I like
regular
that.
corn.
I like that one.
That was the funny one. They use regular corn, but everything else is sourced by like local farms.
What?
It ends up being a pretty solid whiskey that way. So
But those are interesting in itself because it's just cold out there.
yeah, and the atmospheric
Yeah.
changes, and a mile high, etc.
Mhm.
This is crazy. I feel like Chevy Chase in vacation.
I was gonna say this was my idea. By the way, I wanted
Totally
to taste
was.
it.
He wanted to taste
I
it.
wanted to taste it.
I would say we wanted to talk about our favorite and our least favorite, and Adam's idea was we got to taste it.
So I did say when we did this, if I remember correctly, I would be interested to see if they've got anything else coming down the pipeline. This is their first go-to. I know they have some vodkas. I've seen their vodkas. They've got, I think, 3 different vodkas at our local liquor store. But I'd be curious because this is probably, I assume this is their first stab in the bourbon market.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a couple years
I
old.
mean, you're gonna
Learn
learn,
and grow.
and grow, and again,
Malty funk.
It's so
It's
funky.
deep. It's like
It's
like
so
this-
funky.
I'm not gonna say it's grassy, but there's something like
Earthy?
super earthy. But
Vegetation almost a little in there.
yes,
so I think
not chemical, but and there's something.
I think the nose and the aftertaste are almost identical.
Okay.
Very identical. I think when it comes across the palate at first, it's actually not that
Nail
bad.
polish remover a little bit.
No, my comment was the fumes you get from spray paint.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what I get.
I could see that.
Wow.
I can see that.
yeah.
No, he's
Power
saying,
of
yeah.
suggestion. Wow.
Oh yeah.
Tires too, like weird
Burnt rubber?
rubber, like burnt kind
Yeah,
of a
I can see
rubber.
that too. Now I will say, so the fun part, so of the ones that we've beat up the most, this Jeff the Creed is obviously it is the one we beat up the most in any episode, the harshest we've ever done any kind of review. I will thank them for the donation to one of the charities, the fundraisers that we did. They saw they saw an episode, didn't comment on it, but left a nice donation to the Sarcoma Foundation.
That's
Cool.
awesome. That's
Yeah,
really good.
I was very solid on them, and it does make me wonder, maybe they are doing new things. To that line,
I would think a lot of these distillers would listen to criticism.
feedback.
Yeah. I can see how this can appeal to people, but I don't get any of like the good bourbon notes that I love.
Right.
And I
So
wanna go
again,
to-
I think a lot of these, like I said before, they're not aged long enough.
yeah, and it's just young.
They're rushing
To
it out.
sit in that barrel and pull those flavors out of the wood
Mm-hmm.
would help
I don't-
this and the other 4 or 5 artisanals that we did. Even
All right.
Blonde, you
To that point, Blonde Brothers. So we did the Blonde Brothers, and it was a bottle that you had for a while.
A
And
little
we were
bit.
just at the bottom of it, and we finished it up on the episode.
Mike.
One of the brothers,
Mike.
Mike, reached out. So it's Mike and Matt, right?
think so.
He reached out on one of the posts and said, that was our first release. You're totally right. It was like 3-year-old. It was young. Everything they release now is between 4 and 6, apparently. So I'm sure they didn't do that because they listened to us. They were already going down that path. But that was somewhat reaffirming that Yeah, they saw it too. They knew.
They just rushed it.
They knew. They just had to get something out. Or they you got to start making money at some point. I get it.
But I understand why people go the other route and just go to MGP.
Source a little bit.
And source it for a little bit until... Like, I think the big one for us, or the Whiskey Club and just being from Cincinnati, is New Riff.
Mm-hmm.
New Riff, I mean, short backstory is there's a guy who's involved in the liquor store market for years throughout Kentucky. Opened up this ginormous one in northern Kentucky and decided, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to open a distillery. So he sold it, and then trying to open New Riff right in the parking lot of the liquor store he just sold. But he knew, being in the market for so long, like, all right, I gotta go down the road to Lawrenceburg. I gotta pick my profile. He picked one. They named it OKI for Ohio, Kentucky, Indiana. Sold that under the New Riff label until his single barrel, his straight bourbon, and his rye were ready.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So he just ran one label, and then bam, same shape bottle. It's this Colonel Taylor shape bottle, but then they do theirs in that matte black,
frosting,
down
yeah.
clear. It's a cool looking bottle. It stands out on the shelf.
Yeah, it does.
But he knew, like, hey, I'm gonna just roll with this, and then we'll follow it up with my three main ones.
Right.
And he's done
a bunch of
a bunch of variations off of that.
Yeah, I've got two expressions. Well, the same expression, but I got a store pick and just a single barrel, and it's phenomenally different. It's great.
Yes.
That store pick is really good. Really good stuff. Yeah, that's cool. I had no idea.
Yeah.
He started up in the parking lot. That's
he
that's
owned
cool.
the whole property. He sold off the company. Apparently, they found a
this is
big old aquifer
for-
directly below the parking lot, so they get the water from this limestone
water.
aquifer underneath the
That's
distillery.
crazy. That's bizarre. Oh man.
Yeah.
Speaking of Whiskey Club, there's something we are starting it back up. We tried to have a handful of meetings last year. We had a couple of 3 episodes, I think.
Yep.
Following up on those, we are starting back up, and officially we had our first one last Friday. So, so that those episodes will start be coming out, and because we delayed so much,
jackets, or blazers.
that's right, bringing back out the velour, velvet, fake blazers. We'll be going right back into those. And because we had to cancel so many of the events last year, we're going to be doing them nearly monthly starting
Instead
in
of every
June.
month, yeah.
So we're going to have those coming out monthly as well. So
Exciting.
that'll be fun to jump back into
Yeah.
those and whatever the themes are. Why? Why did you do this?
I challenge, man. Look, it's such a. I mean, I don't know. It's a cool bottle. What a great label. But Bloody Busher corn. Maybe it's the Bloody Busher corn. I don't know.
Apparently the deer like it, but I do
Man,
not. It's rough. Anyway.
I will try this again later. Not this bottle, but
There's
maybe
been a
couple
number
years
of
of
bottles. My
expression.
comment has been,
Try a different expression or try different.
no, it was one who thought we're
Yes.
we're at the point where we should bottle it.
You're
Why?
thieving it out of the barrel and going, wow, this is great. Time the barrel.
Yeah.
And I'm not a master distiller, so I mean, don't whoever Jeff the Creative and some other ones has said the same comment too. Like, really, I'd like to know the thought process behind it. Is really what I'm.
Yeah. What were
getting
you
at.
going for?
What were you going for? And what was for you like? All right, we're good. Let's go. Let's bottle it.
Don't worry. We've got something.
Yes. Yeah. I'm just trying to struggle through this guy. So when you do go into the Facebook page and the Instagram page, you will see a new logo. You may see multiple logos over the next handful of months, playing around, trying to get something that we like. We wanted to change it. It started off as just a picture of the globe. That's the infinity bottle. Yeah, at the beginning is it turning. It's not the most high tech, but we were just going for it right now.
Yeah.
In the beginning,
Starting off.
We're low budget to
we
start.
were
out.
low budget to start off with. So we might start to figure that out at some point. We might figure out maybe a T-shirt or something along those lines with one of those logos and our fun little phrase, which we don't say as much in the beginning now as we used to. We used to start every episode with Welcome to Exploring Whiskies.
It's Gregory, right?
And yeah.
Is that him
Oh,
saying it?
yeah, that
Is
was him too.
okay.
Hi, Exploring
Exploring
Whiskey
Whiskey
people.
It's my
Yeah.
son, yes.
Yeah. So we've got a couple different things. I got some ideas going on there. So we might figure out that whole line of start the merch stuff.
Yeah.
We did set up our first affiliate link. So whoever does win the 2-ounce bottle, a 2-ounce pour sample of the Elmer T Lee will get a bottle from Glass Bottles Outlet. They do mostly handshakes, hot sauce bottles, a whole bunch of but you can do them in bulk. So that affiliate link is down in the descriptions of our episodes. So if you want to order a bunch of handshakes and start sharing with your friends, if you click through that, that'd be great. Doesn't cost you anything extra. We get a little nugget off of that. So we might be doing 1 or 2 more. We'll see how that goes. But more to come on that. We're gonna, I don't know, see if we can have some income that might help us buy some whiskeys that maybe we wouldn't splurge for. We'll see. Oh, the other great experience of last year was Rabbit Hole.
Right, yeah, we got to do it on site.
We got invited up, and we got a full private tour, and got to taste their whole line, including the gin and the first release of the Founders Reserve, the rye.
Cave's special.
Yeah, well, not the new one, but yeah, that one.
The $1,500 bottle.
Yeah, that's the latest one is a Mizunara Oak, which is
It was an unbelievable distillery. How well
it's a lot of fun.
thought out that place was, and
Functional. It was
we got to
everything was
open
designed.
up every door. There was
Yeah.
nothing left a secret.
Nope.
That's cool.
Yeah, every
There's
time.
a couple of places where he says don't take pictures in here,
Right.
but
Apparently
everything else was.
They were sourcing some of their stuff out, so you couldn't take pictures of the barrels because they had the names on it and stuff like that. Which I get that. That makes sense.
But I did recently watch like a 10-minute YouTube video on the distillery, and when it's actually open during the day and everything's going on, like I wish they were there. Like it was open and running when we were there. That would have been really cool.
I liked the
impressed.
fact that it was totally empty because
That too.
we got to walk into everything. We got to stick finger in the
Mash.
fermenter and here's something that's been in there for 24 hours and 48 hours and you
It's
could,
not very big either.
it's not huge. It's vertically taller than it. Yeah, it's not a big
But it's a
footprint.
cool building. Yeah,
It's very cool.
From the outside and once you go in, just very well thought out.
Yeah, if you're in Louisville, I would totally recommend their tasting room is up on the top floor. You can see the river.
Faces
It's
the
cool.
west, so it's awesome. So you can see the sunset.
Yeah, it's a very cool place. But now that it is open back up, got to make a trip back up there.
But
But
that was special because it was close to the public.
right,
Yeah, that was in the middle. That was right
Yeah,
in the
absolutely.
middle of COVID.
Yep.
yeah, that was like
Yeah.
middle of November, and
Appreciate you guys
it was
doing
shut
that, too.
down, and it was great.
Every expression was good. I was impressed by that. I'm a gin guy as well, and that gin was phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
Straight up. I mean, there's not many gins you can drink just
And
straight.
his little trick he did,
Yeah,
that was pretty cool too.
taking because their gin is finished in their rye barrels, so you taste the gin, and then you taste the rye. And then you go back and taste the gin, and the gin tastes totally different.
Yeah, that was very cool.
Yeah.
But it's one of those you can sip on, and it's even better when you just like you put your bottle in the freezer.
Mm-hmm.
It was even better then.
Yeah. I bought a bottle, stuck in the freezer, and made a gin fizz, and
I'm
it
sure
was
that was solid.
it was phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
They're doing good stuff down there.
Yeah. Fun to watch. That was a great experience, and all because we were bored during COVID and started the channel. So, and I want to say, I think we've learned a whole lot. We've delved into so many histories and and experienced so many more whiskeys than we ever would have if we didn't do this show.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the cool part, in my opinion. What else do we have? All right, we have our final drink. It's all you, man. That's
No,
all
come on, you do this.
Oh, come on.
Come on.
All right, you pour.
We'll cut it out. I'll pour. You.
Yeah, that's
come on.
fine.
You
So-
sell it.
All right. So George T Stagg is one of the BTEC, the Buffalo Trace Antique Collection. This is a collection of 5 different whiskeys that come out every year. So you got the George T, who's the big brother to the the Stagg Junior, but apparently there's really no comparison of these two. It's a very different profile. But there's let's see, we got the Eagle Rare 17, which I think they released 18 this year. I think it was an 18.
That's
year.
right. Yep.
The Sazerac Rye 18, which is the big brother to what was used in the Sazerac drink, the Baby Saz.
Yeah.
William LaRue Weller, which I've heard is amazing, and I've never had that one. I really want to try that one. Thomas H. Handy Rye. So there's 2 ryes out of this lineup, and the George T.
Yeah.
This is the 2019 release of the George T Stagg. And it was a weird year for the whole beat tag. 2019 was. Just looking up some of the history, they're always released foolproof, unchill filtered, all that kind of fun stuff. This was the first year where it fell under 120. So this one is only 116.9. Lowest it's been, I don't know if it's forever, but it was the lowest up till that point. It was one of the lowest one they've ever released was this particular one. The age statement on this, 15 years, 3 months. And they released a cool letter with each one to talk about the bottles, and it's each one. So every single one of the B-Tech have their own letters, and it gets really. I mean, if you want to nerd out, these are the bottles to nerd out.
It's
on.
crazy how specific.
So it's like the 4 roses, where they have the letters.
No, it's
No.
not different. No, it's not. No, I know what you're going for. No, it's not that it's
No,
different.
there's the mash
blending,
bill,
it's
though.
mash bills
No.
and yeasts and stuff like this.
in the States.
This gets really specific on. So it's Kentucky corn, it's Minnesota rye, it's North Dakota malted barley. They used the screen for the filtering since they don't chill filter it. It's a number 10 screen that they use to get the particulates out.
It's crazy.
They cook the mash at 240 degrees Fahrenheit. I was just like sitting there reading all this. This is awesome. It is a sours mash, so they're using some of the mash from the last year's distillation in this distillation as a starter.
That's a beam.
Yeah, there's a lot of
beam
different.
technique, right? Yeah, that's right.
It's
A lot
well,
of
it's
people do
also
that. Bardstown do it as well.
Jack Daniels.
Yeah.
It's a sour mash. Double distilled, a beer still, and then a doubler. Proofed off the still at 135, which is way below what they could proof it up to. New white oak of a number 4 char for 55 seconds. Like I said, it goes on and
Kevin
on
written
and
all over
on. Like so much information. This is the first year they didn't release the number of barrels that they put. Every other year they had put the number of barrels. Let's just say that there was a slight mix-up, and I started looking at the 2017 release, and there was 309 barrels. So apparently, and they had a theme or a trend of increasing the number of barrels that they were putting in, which would mean more bottles, which would mean, because this was another interesting one. We've always talked about that. How much whiskey's left after you age for 15 years? 44%. 56% of the original whiskey is lost to evaporation. 44% of what you put in is still left.
That's crazy.
Which means, now think about Pappy 23. That's a whole nother 8 years. You're probably talking maybe 30?
That bottom of the little dip is all you're getting out of one single
maybe
barrel.
30?
Man.
Maybe 30%? Probably a little under, high 20s, something like that. If you want to
It
nerd
almost
out
makes you
every
think,
whiskey.
like, after 50%, like, are you
Disappears.
doing the right thing? Like,
Holding on to it?
I mean, are you, like, aging? Is it
Well, I
too
think that's
long?
what.
or?
But I think that's where they toy around.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're messing around with the years.
Yep.
I think the interesting thing with Buffalo Trace, though, is all of theirs are designated for certain areas in the warehouse.
Yes.
Yeah.
We got warehouse C, H, K, Q, and I.
Well, like some are
First,
like-
second, third, and fourth floors.
Some are like certain floors center. Some
Buffalo
are certain
Trace.
floors.
Right.
Yeah. Higher
This
in the rank.
corner.
Yeah.
This corner, we've said this before, and even like with Old Forester, I mean, the method to the madness is.
Yeah.
I want to know how they thought of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how great of a job
It's going around.
is that?
Heaving just a little bit, going,
Nah.
that's
give me
not
something
right
else.
yet.
Yep.
Give me something else.
That's not
Let's go
right
higher.
yet. All right, since you decided not to pour, I'll pour.
Bland's is always from the middle.
Yeah.
I thought it was Buffalo Trace was always the middle. Is that not true?
I wanna say,
It's
I
always
think
middle, but
it's
it's
Blanton's.
certain. Yeah, I mean every
It's
bottle's
just
Blanton's.
crazy.
George T Stagg, was one of similar actually to Peppy. Started was doing sales, so he was doing whiskey sales out of St. Louis. Out of what, and I think they still release something now. There's an OFC that they release that can never find, but I know they release it. But that's a nod back to the distillery, which was Old Fire Cooper Distillery, which is an E.H. Taylor line. So that's what he was selling. 1904, he bought it, rebranded it to George T. 100 years later, Buffalo Trace bought it. And they used to be called George T. Stagg Distillery until like 2000-ish, late 90s.
Oh, wow.
And then I think we talked about this during the Buffalo Trace show. When they changed the name over to Buffalo Trace, for the longest time,
There's never a bottle.
there wasn't a whiskey called Buffalo Trace.
Bourbon.
It's a whiskey. Damn. Anyway, yeah. So they didn't actually have something called Buffalo Trace. Somebody was on like a press tour and like,
It was a fan. Yeah, right.
where's the Buffalo Trace whiskey?
Right.
And they were like,
The next day, they're like, all right, what shelf is it? We haven't
That
pulled
blows
something
my
yet.
mind.
yeah, which one do we want to put in there? So, and that became Buffalo Trace of, well, they're generally 8-ish year whiskeys, bourbons. And I want to say they're towards the middle of the middle is kind of what Buffalo Trace is. Wow.
Oh, yeah. Just, I mean, the nose is.
That is
Ugh.
just so many sweet notes of chocolates and brown sugars and dark.
A lot of oak.
Oh, yeah, a lot of oak.
15
A
years
lot
of
of
it.
oak and a lot of ethanol.
Yeah. I get that cinnamon, but it's not a sweet cinnamon. You know, it's like the.
Red Hots, the
Yeah, but-
Fireball.
Yeah, that's
Candy,
fine. Yeah.
not the shot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
the
not the
ethanol.
sweetness.
Ethanol comes out pretty big.
Yeah, which is funny. This is the
This
lowest
guy always
proof.
drinks first on the show, so
Yes,
I
he
was
does.
like, at least one of the pours
Yes, he
I want
does.
to drink before him.
I
So
talk
did
too
it
long,
twice in
and
a
he's
row.
just like, dude, I'm thirsty.
No, every time I watch him, I'm like, yeah, go in.
Well, but you
Oh.
go to the first sip and then go back to the nose. Does it
Yeah.
change?
I'm gonna say there's a lot more cinnamon,
Yes.
spice on the
Yep.
palate,
Yes.
but then the sweetness and like a creamy chocolate
Yeah.
comes into the finish.
Yep.
Chocolatey cherry.
I can see that.
Sweetness. Not
It's
a
just like
cordial, but you get the chocolate and
Yeah,
the
you
cherry
don't get the
sweetness.
vanilla, but you get the chocolate and cherry. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the hug is just like so nice.
Yeah,
Right
it's
in
a
the
gentle
middle,
hug.
and
It's a
it's
soft
just
It's a
very,
side hug.
yeah.
It's not a full squeeze.
It's not a 120
It's not the full
plus.
Kentucky hug.
No,
Just
no,
the
it's not
burn,
a
it
one-
goes all the way down.
Mm-mm. No, it's just right up top, and it makes me want to go in again.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, so much more chocolate on the nose after
Yeah.
the first sip.
yeah. Chocolate's really coming through strong. The nose still does. It carries the proof.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought maybe after the sip and
No.
getting rid of the Jeff the Crete aftertaste, I would get a little bit more like acclimated to that proof. Proof still very solid, very forward. That's just crazy for
Those
100.
legs. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like independent.
For the fact
legs.
it's 116, 117.
Mhm.
If it's normally in the mid 120s, how aggressive is that? Like maybe this was a good thing that it came down. I don't know if they'll ever change it, like purposefully proof it down, but it's really solid.
I had
But,
a pour
even
of the
some
20.
of the Bookers we've said though before, like they're just too hot.
Yeah,
If you were
Some of them
dialed
are
down
Yeah.
overly
5
aggressive,
to 10,
Yep.
you've been
and
much
that's why
better.
they're great on a cube.
Right.
You throw that on a cube, Booker's is great.
Yep. Yeah, dude, I really enjoyed the finish on this one.
Yeah. I mean, you get sweet. It's so. I mean, balance is another weird term, but
No, it is.
I mean,
It's
you
got
get
very nice
sweetness,
balance.
You get earthy. I get tobacco. I get cinnamon. I
The
get.
oak,
There's so much going on.
yeah.
You get some. I mean, it dries out in the back of the tongue, which are some bourbons that kind of gets weird, but I like it. I like it on this one.
MSRP. For the longest time, it was 90. They bumped it up to, I think this is the year they bumped it up to 100. So in 2019, they bumped it up to 100. So that's the MSRP.
If you could see it on a shelf, I've never seen
You're
anything.
never going to find this on a shelf or at an MSRP outside of like a raffle of some
It's a
sort.
raffle, or you gotta have connections at a store
Yeah.
where they just hold some bottles back
Maybe.
and call you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chris.
Well, I know there's a. I will say I've heard there's a handful where they will hold it for you because you take it home and turn around and give them a sample of it. I've heard that's a practice that
I would do.
I would.
I'd be down
all day
time.
long.
I'd be down.
Yeah, this. I mean, I can't keep this stuff in my house by myself and not call people. Like, yeah, especially
Well,
these
the
two
fortunate
guys right
that
here.
Our wives don't drink this stuff.
Man,
God.
Can you imagine how quickly it would disappear?
Yeah.
it's like a. But I think of it all the time that way. It's like a double-edged sword. I would love it because she would hunt. Luckily, my wife actually does hunt a
Same.
little bit.
She
for
does.
me.
Mine will.
Yeah, yeah, all right, yeah. But if they drank it, man, yeah, she would pound this. That would be gone. The Elmer T Lee, she would love that one. But
Yeah. A slightly lower proof and the
yeah, slightly lower proof.
Yep.
We're just lucky that 1792 12 year is not readily available because that's the only
Yeah.
one
Our wives were just like, that's really good. I was like, that's great. That's a pretty rare bottle. Stop drinking.
Every
that.
1792 post that came out, is that the one I like?
Is that the one I like? I did read that. And I haven't tried that one, so we
12 year?
Yeah, I haven't tried that one yet.
It's
It's
very
good.
solid. It's a very solid bottle. Of that whole lineup, that is absolutely
The
my
most
favorite from the 1792.
underwhelming one was the sweet wheat.
Yeah.
That
And
was
to bring it up
disappointing.
again,
So dry.
I got a bottle of sweet wheat along with this. So the combination purchase of California, I'm not going to talk about it, but it was the old Rip and sweet wheat. I'm not going to say.
And
it was
there was a hype
underwhelming.
level and there
There
was
was
an
the
actual
hype
level.
that was through the roof.
Didn't
and
even
then
come
it-
close to meeting it.
No, that's sweet wheat. I was
It's not
highly
bad.
disappointed.
It's not bad. But
No.
like when you label something sweet wheat and it's a high wheat, if it's wheat or mash bill, like I would expect something.
A very
was just
sweet,
dry.
soft
Dry.
caramel.
It was just so dry.
Yes.
Yeah, it was just. Yeah.
It was weird. It was a very weird and
It-
nowhere near the expectation.
It is better with water. I put a lot of
Okay.
water in the second pour I had of it, and I think I tasted more, but it never got sweet. Never,
That is
never-
something we may or may not want to experiment with.
The dropper.
Have a little
Dropper
dropper.
next to it, and I don't
Have a
think
little
ice.
dropper during the show.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to get into ice. That's complicated.
Yeah, yeah.
But just a little dropper
We're
to
normally
put like
about
a couple
an
drops.
An ounce each pour.
Yeah.
Get halfway through it.
Yeah, you could nose
Little
it,
drop.
sip it,
yeah,
See how it changes.
do a second sip, and then do a drop of
two.
water.
yeah. Or
You
do,
too.
or
There you
do
go.
one pour and then do neat, and then with a drop of water. Just see if it opens up or changes.
True. Could do it that way too.
It
That's
gets
delicious.
Sweeter, the smell.
Yep.
It just the nose opens up with sweetness. I don't know. This last year, getting some newer things and things I haven't seen before. It's probably It's probably one of the top 5 pours I've ever had, ever. I mean, I haven't had a
a pretty
lot of
solid
things,
bottle.
but
It's up there.
a solid.
It's
bottle.
definitely up there.
It is a solid bottle.
I'm vaguely remember the ones that are probably in my top 10s, but the Michter's 10, very solid pour.
I don't know. Never had it.
The H. Taylor 4 grain, very solid pour.
That one as well. I had the single barrel recently, which was delicious.
Very good.
I'm still on the hunt for Michter's Toasted.
I would love to find one of
Those
those.
are Craig Toasted.
Yep.
I've had that one. It's good. But again, I think there was a lot of hype when it came out, and I was just like,
Not quite. I mean, it was good, but it didn't live up to
Yeah.
the.
The thing that
super
everyone tells
excitement.
me is like the toasted marshmallow, which makes me I want to jump in. Where the double oak Woodford is the closest to that note I've ever
I
had.
don't like that one.
Oh, No?
He was not a fan of the Woodford Double.
Is it too sweet?
Really, I don't know. I just really enjoy regular Woodford.
okay.
And I drank it for years with my father-in-law. That was like our go-to
I get it. Yeah.
holidays.
Yep.
I don't know. I don't veer from there. And I owned a bottle. I finished it, of course. It didn't go to waste, but I don't know. I just prefer the original Woodford.
Original
over that
Woodford?
one. I just
I get it.
did not care for it.
I haven't liked the other expressions. Like I tried the malted barley. I tried the weeder. That's
Both are
in my
terrible.
like
Both are
Skull
terrible.
Infinity bottle that I have at home. Ugh. Not a fan of that one.
Weaver gave me the maroon, which is the weeded.
That's the weeded.
We drank it together at my house, and he's like, "Man, I'm really sorry for giving you this bottle." And then at the school fundraiser, I bid on the malted one.
Yeah, the blue label. Yeah.
God, man,
see?
I struck out on both of those.
But I've had the 4 wood, and I've had some of their special expressions that they come out with every once in a while, the port finish and other things like that. They're great. And the regular Woodford is phenomenal.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
Yeah, so one, great to go into three more really good whiskeys that kind of are, everything goes back to the beginning of all the Buffalo Trace and all from that same distillery. So very cool to do that. I'm excited for the next year too. I think there's a lot more whiskey out there to drink.
yes.
I think we've just scratched like a little bit into the some of the Japanese stuff. The Indian one, the Emirate, was really neat, and I'm interested to get more into that. There's so many more special expressions that are coming out of like Ireland and Scotland. There's a lot of really cool things to come. Can't wait to see what we're going to be doing next for cocktails. That'll be a great time. I can't wait for those.
Looking forward to it. Yeah.
We got some good stuff going on there. We'll have some summer drinks. We'll have some fall drinks. We'll have some winter drinks.
I think the big takeaway for me is explore it all.
Yes.
If you're typically not a Scotch guy, when you're at a friend's house, try it.
Yeah.
You don't like it, you don't like it. You can cross it off the list. I think the other thing is don't judge a book by its cover. The price.
Sure.
We've done stuff at Whiskey Club where we've done the range of a bottle that costs $18 and a bottle that costs $75, and the bottle that costs $18 everyone really liked.
Yeah.
Which was the Evan Williams Bottle and Bond.
Yes.
Yep. It's true.
That's a very solid bottle.
Don't price doesn't mean everything.
Yeah.
And oddly enough, the best episode, performance-wise, number of views, by far, is the Buffalo Trace Bottom Shelf, where we reviewed Benchmark, Old Charter, and Ancient Age. Benchmark's really good, and as you're driving back to Ohio, that's another one to look for. Benchmark has a Bottle and Bond release, which was our biggest knock, was the fact that it was only 80 proof. They have Bottle and Bond release. They have three or four over the baseline. Ancient Age was discontinued. That was a 10-year Ancient Age. Unfortunately, that was discontinued. But the Benchmark is doing some more things. But by far, the most viewed, 2,000 views, and I think the second one is the Yamato Cask Strength was number 2. But way below
Kentucky Owl.
number 2. It was crazy how many people are interested in just daily drinkers.
Just explore.
And they're good. They're really good. The Old Charter I would steer clear of.
Some of those bottles that are on that bottom, below the knees.
Yeah.
Bottom shelf. Every now and then, just
grab one.
one.
So Old Overholt was a great little find for a very low price.
That was a diamond in the rough.
That's
a bunch of people found out. That ended up making Whiskey Advocate.
I honestly, for our last whiskey group, we looked at that bottle, and we thought this label, no.
The bottle looks.
It does.
It looks like a
Seagram's
Seagram's bottle from the 70s.
Yeah,
that's what
without
it looks
knowing any info on it and tasting it or
the Bottle and Bond at mid-20s, 100 proof rye. It's the best affordable rye in my opinion.
Yeah.
The E.H. Taylor rye was a whole different level of rye, but I've not seen.
I'm not even sure I've touched that bottle since we sampled.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Finding that is a whole different conversation.
Right.
The regular Old Overholt rye, pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
It's not as good. It's really not. So I have it. We haven't reviewed it yet. We'll get there, but it's not as good. The Bottom Bond is solid.
Yep.
So yeah, I totally agree. Just try other stuff. Don't have your fast opinion of what a Scotch is. It's not always smoky and sea salt and brine and all that kind of stuff.
They associate Scotches with the Islas.
Yep.
Yeah.
But you go to the Glenmorangies, the Glenlivets,
Glenfiddichs, the Dalmores. We've now done so many where, it's totally different.
Yeah.
But the other cool part is we've now got a solid taste for the Islas, which we never, like, it's not something I've ever enjoyed before, but now it's like, that's different.
I remember the first time we sampled Lefroy, I was like, oh,
Holy
this is awful. And then I had it again, and I was like, you know what?
you were saying,
It's not bad. And then now, my wife, when she's out, she's like, you need anything? I was like, yeah, can you grab me a peated scotch?
Yeah.
yeah.
I know not all of our friends care for it, and I know that bottle is only going to be consumed by pretty much this group right here.
Probably.
But
no, honestly,
I enjoy those.
You guys have turned me on to Scotch in a way that it's just not. It's not. There's so much more to it.
Yes.
There's so much more. It's not just peat. It's not just smoke. There's a lot of things going on. So, yeah,
Yeah,
that's
it's
cool.
been one of the cool parts of this, and totally fitting for the name, totally fitting for why we wanted to start doing this, and
It's been a fun year. It's been a
Been
very
fun.
educational year, expanding the palate,
yes,
expanding
lots
the
and lots of research on lots and lots of bottles.
palate, price points, all
Yeah,
of it.
value, like figuring out, like, yeah, that's really good, but the price is a little too much.
There's been a
Or
handful of those bottles. Like,
there's been, yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's not
good,
that bad.
but I don't want to pay $80 for
No.
that. But there's been a handful where it's, wow, that's really good, and it's only 27. Holy crap,
Yeah,
that's
like
awesome. Or it's only 30, whatever. We've found a handful of those that have become, they're standards on the bar now. I don't think we got to cover anything else for what we've done or
Nope.
what we're going to do. I will ask, leave a comment. You got any ideas? You got any thoughts? What anything else we should explore into? We're interested. We want to keep it around whiskey. I think our wives pitched, well, what about wines? No, I don't want to even get into
That's a
that.
whole other
They can
world.
start their own channel.
There's way too many wines to get
They
into
can
to
do a
start doing
Prosecco
that.
channel themselves.
It's too big. I didn't realize how big whiskey was until we really got into
even
this.
like another lineup. Like we started doing that. We did the Buffalo Trace, the Old Forester, the 1792.
We're doing the Wheel of Ray right now.
Yeah, I mean Wheeler's Ray, which is local here. Is there another one out
Yeah.
there that
Yeah, that has a good, just multiple bottle
it's
wine.
got 4, 5, 6 bottles that we can?
Yeah.
We'd love to go on the hunt.
Yeah, or something you like, that you love, that you want to sell to someone else, or you.
What's
you
your
can share
go-to?
to
What's
friends.
your daily drinker?
Yeah.
Or what's your favorite? Like if you're gonna splurge,
Yeah.
what are you
Or
splurging on? What-
I have
what's up?
seen that, so that's another idea. There's some idea shows. What are your 5? You only need 5 whiskeys. I've seen that as
Oh,
your
yeah.
daily
Yeah.
drinker, your
What do you keep
weekend
on-
special.
What do you keep on
your
your bar?
Yeah.
Bar cart.
Yeah, those
You
kind of
wanna
things.
Impress
So-
someone with, and
Right.
Yeah,
So
husband
we
and
might
wife
do
that do
some
that
of
shit.
those.
yeah, I know.
Yeah, we might do a handful of those type things too, not just review shows or just cocktail shows. Maybe there's more,
Bang for your buck.
value
Yeah.
shows or whatever, like top 5 values, best whiskeys, whatever. If you have other ideas, love to hear from you.
Well, again, we appreciate you guys coming along this journey with us. The
Yeah.
first year, it's been fun for us. We hope it's been fun for you. There's been some good ones, some bad ones, some ones I like to forget about. But at the end of the day, it's been a lot of fun to do this. And again, I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, as always, we encourage you to swipe that like button at the bottom of the screen.
Thumbs up.
While you're down there, if you're new to the channel, subscribe, hit that bell icon so you get notified, and leave a comment. We'd love to hear from you.
Absolutely. First year in the books. Looking forward to the second year.
I'm empty, but I will tap you. I will cheers it up.
Thanks for joining.
Thanks for joining.